Okay, so we got to see how the Desert Dome at the Henry Dorley Zoo and little plastic lizards and critters apply to us, our spiritual DNA, and how we nurture relationships. We also got a chance to look at John chapter 13. Let's go ahead and take another look. In John chapter 13, Jesus gives us this new command. As followers of his, he tells us, love one another as he has loved us. Well, it's really hard to love one another if we are not with one another. And that's why nurturing relationships is so important, that we gather together with one another to love one another. It's also how we're recognized by others. It's how we live out our identity as followers of Jesus. So we are recognized by how well we love one another. We get to reflect Jesus, the one whom we follow, by how we love others. And we get to share Jesus' love with one another and show everyone what Jesus is like by how we treat each other. So not only is it good for us to build each other up, but we also see that those who are not yet following Jesus are looking on. They're watching us to see how we love one another. Do we love like Jesus does? Because this is part of our spiritual DNA. We nurture relationships because it's part of who we are. We are a spiritual family. And Jesus talks about this in Mark chapter 3, verses 31 through 35. It reads, Then Jesus' mother and brothers arrived. Standing outside, they sent someone in to call him. A crowd was sitting around him, and they told him, Your mother and brothers are outside looking for you. Who are my mother and my brothers? He asked. Then he looked at those seated in a circle around him and said, Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does God's will is my brother and sister and mother. So we see that Jesus forms a spiritual family, and he forms our spiritual DNA. Spiritual family is elevated above the biological family. Not that the biological family is not important, but Jesus elevates a spiritual family because it lasts forever, and being a member of his family is far greater. And Jesus came to make us family. We are adopted into the family of God. And we connect in with each other as we nurture relationships. Because again, it's part of our spiritual DNA. It's who we are. And whoever does God's will is Jesus' brother, sister, and mother. And that's why we want to nurture relationships. We want to grow in with other brothers and sisters, people that are inside the family of God.